All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Guy Clark, and I'm with Where to Eat 239. And today we have a very special treat for you. We are going to be interviewing Corporate Chef Jason Goddard from Sea Salt, Barbatella, and Dorona, the newest, hottest restaurant in Southwest Florida. And today it's all about the meats. Look at this amazing setup that we have here today. We're going to be talking about the farms. We're going to be talking about the cuts. We're going to be talking about how to order the perfect meat for your dinner, entertainment, and pleasure. So be sure to tune in, share this, tell us if you can hear us, make sure the connection's good. We'd love to get some feedback. If you have any questions for Chef Jason, be sure to put them in the comments. Raphael is going to be standing by monitoring everything to make sure that we have all the questions right. And we really look forward to going over all of these different meats today. So be sure to share this. We really appreciate that. And again, we're going to be talking with a corporate chef, amazing, amazing meats today. So look forward to seeing what questions you guys have. And, oh, wow. Chef, look at that. What is that? Oh, that looks like a special treat we're going to be talking about today. So let's get started on this. We're going to go down, follow us. We're going to talk to Corporate Chef here. Hey, Chef, how are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Tell everybody, our listeners, a little bit about who you are.
I'm Corporate Chef Jason Goddard. I've been working at Sea Salt since we opened up. It's about 9.5, 10 years ago.
Okay.
We opened up. It was a pretty amazing restaurant.
It is.
Amazing start.
I've eaten there many times.
Awesome. And then we opened up Barbatella about 5 years ago. Kind of took that under my wing as well.
Okay.
And we opened up Sea Salt in St. Pete about 3 years ago now.
Nice.
That was an amazing nice endeavor going up there and recreating something that we had worked on down here in Naples and almost making a Sea Salt 2.0.
Oh.
And then when I got done with that, I had to come back here and
start working on Dorona.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Chef Fabrizio and I, we started putting this thing together, and it's turned out a new amazing type of concept, more meat-centric, where seafood has been our game for so many years.
Right.
Not the 100% of our game, but we've been known for seafood and Italian. So we figured we'd diversify a little bit and add the meat to our repertoire.
Well, it says it's a modern Italian steakhouse. So what's a modern Italian? We understand a steakhouse. What would modern Italian be?
So we were going more towards the modern steakhouse feel, with brighter lit, more fun, energetic. You know, when you go to the typical old school steakhouse, you're
dark woods.
Yeah, very dark and kind
90-year-old servers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we wanted that more fun approach, a more lively approach to it. And the Italian thing, we can't get away from it. It's just part of who we are.
Of course.
So, you know, the one thing I love about Italian food is they've got everything. You know, and usually you do multi-course dinners, you know, sit there for 4 or 5 hours, and you make an experience out of it.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing.
And if our listeners have been to Dorona, they can attest to how fun it is, the community table that seats 20, the beautiful chandeliers, the open windows, and the nice private seating booths. It's a very fun time. The wife and I have been here a couple times as well. So, but look, today is about the meats. So let's get into it. What is this crazy thing you brought out?
So this is the dry-aged export rib. It has been aged for about 35, 36 days right now. Why we do it is to maximize tenderness and apply flavor, extra flavor to it. If you get a piece of steak right from the cow that doesn't have any age, it's going to be horrible. You don't want to eat it. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very mineral flavored. And this is the way that, you know, they have been aging it for so long, is because of the flavor. You know, they take these primal cuts and subprimal cuts and hang it and let it kind of just get all those hemoglobins inside the meat. Actually, natural enzymes will break it down and add to the texture.
And what is, I know you've kind of said this, but in simple terms, what does aging do for the meats? In layman terms.
Gives you better texture and more flavor.
Better texture, more flavor. Now, before you serve this, obviously, you cut away the entire outside of the aging that has mold, actually, or so, right?
Yes, and it's a good mold.
Good mold.
And it creates a layer of bark on the outside. So all this will come out.
Right.
On a normal steak, you're going to lose about 20% between evaporation of the water and the moisture, and then of cleaning the bark as
Cleaning the bark as well. Fantastic. So let's move on here, because one of the things that's really cool about Dorona is you're working with a lot of farms. Now, I'm going to run through a couple of these, and we're going to go back and talk about them. We got Joyce Farms and Jackman Farms, Birkwood Pork from Iowa, which is your hometown, home state, right?
Yes.
You're an Iowa boy. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but let's talk about the dry age. This is a 22-ounce bone-in ribeye and a Joyce Farms Aberdeen, am I saying that right? Aberdeen Angus, and that is a boneless ribeye, 12-ounce. So the Scottish Aberdeen Angus cattle is the original Angus.
Yep.
The lineage is important because the original Aberdeen Angus was bred to thrive on a 100% grass diet. So that's interesting. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so the owner of the farms, Ron Joyce, is amazing at what he does. He really tries to find the true, pure heritage breed and revitalize them and bring them back, because there was a few years back, a couple of the smaller farmers were farming some small breed Gloucestershire pigs, which is one of those new things that Ron Joyce is doing. The Aberdeen Angus, the Poulet Rouge, the Red Farmer chicken. And he breeds them to bring the livestock back up, the world population back up.
Heritage meats.
Yes, yep.
Fantastic.
And so that's what he does the best is with that. Now, one good thing I love about the Aberdeen Angus is it is for typical grass-fed. You see all this intramuscular fat in there?
Yes.
You normally don't have any of that. It looks more like a filet mignon with no fat inside of there.
Okay.
This one is
no marbling.
No marbling. So it's grading out at a choice, and which is for the grass-fed thing has been for so long. You don't have a lot of the extra flavor that you would get from a corn-finished product.
Okay. Now I've heard that there's a difference between corn-fed and grass-fed in the taste, and is that true?
Yes, because the corn-fed actually increases that marbling.
Okay.
Now. One thing to do is to find good corn. This day and age, in the last 30 years, with all the GMO products, the corn, things like that, you want to source your products from reputable
it's important to know where you're sourcing exactly.
Yeah, and where they're getting their feed from.
Okay.
As I'm from Iowa, I was a boy growing up, going to the feedlots and different things like that, and seeing firsthand what it means.
Okay. Nice. So. Now that we understand, the good cut of meat, the good type of meat, what are some tricks that our listeners can take into any restaurant and be able to make sure that not only do they get the right cut, but the right cook? What are the temperatures? Let's talk about that, because this is such a highly controversial thing about medium rare, and well done, etc. And I know everybody's preferences is their own, and that's fine. But from a chef's point of view, a kitchen's point of view, what are the different cuts, and what can our listeners do to make sure that they're getting the best cook, the best temperature? Okay,
well, it definitely differs between the variances of...
And I know that's a loaded question, Chef. I'm sorry.
No, it's great. There's a lot of variances depending on the type of cut. It is. If you're talking about your strip loins, your New York strips, your tenderloins, your ribeyes, your porterhouses, you're gonna want a good medium rare to medium for the best eating, if you will.
Okay.
Texture. If you're looking at texture in that medium rare that most people like. off we sell more medium rare and medium steaks.
Okay.
Out of all of them.
So out of all the steaks Dorona's cooking, medium rare and medium are the two most commonly asked for.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is really medium and medium rare?
So medium rare is right about 125 to 135 internal temperature. Now you're gonna take the steak out off of the grill. You want to rest it. Okay. You want that temperature to come up to a well-rested steak. You're going to have that eye appeal that most people are looking for.
Okay, what is resting? Let's cut in right there.
Resting is allowing the steak to have time to carry over cook. Now, when you're putting the steak on the grill at home and you're cooking it,
right.
When you take it off the grill, does it stop cooking?
No, absolutely not.
So that's where you're going to.
In fact, it still bleeds on the plate sometimes.
And that's definitely a good thing. You want the juices to go out to the outside, and then when it rests, it brings them back inside. The excess will not come back inside, right. But just all the way back to the inside of it, and it will help settle it out and cook it to that. If you're a medium eater, that desired pink throughout.
So you're actually, if you're cooking at home on the grill or in the house, you'd want to take it out a little bit before you feel it's your medium or medium rare, and then allow it to rest and finalize cooking?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
There you go.
So part of that, when you are getting that temperature, you're looking for let's say a Pittsburgh steak. You want super hot. You
right.
want the metal almost white and searing that into almost burning the outside and keeping the inside blue, or black and blue is what they call it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're getting a difference between the rare, the Pittsburgh. Rare is going to be a cold center. And
hold on, if anybody has any questions too, because if you don't know what a Pittsburgh is, or if you have some questions about this cooking, please feel free, type them in the comments. Raphael's there. He's got the camera. Say hi, Raphael. He's doing our camera for us today, and he'll make sure we get those questions. Sorry, Chef, you're talking about rare in Pittsburgh.
So rare is going to be a nice crispy outside, but cold inside.
I like that.
So what we're doing here is we're cooking everything 100% right on the grill.
Okay.
So you're going to get that nice steakhouse char, which most people think is from like a spice rub or different things like that. You'll see them at Publix and the supermarkets, the Whole Foods. They have the char crusts.
Right.
Where we're doing it very, very simple. A little salt, pepper, and olive oil, a little rosemary, and some garlic on there. And it's charring from the cooking on the grill.
Is that the Maillard reaction?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Ooh, see, I know a little here and there. All right, well, listen, let's get into this next cut, too, because we got an amazing amount of meats here, and I want to be able to talk about all these great stuff. So this second one that we have here, this is let's see if I can get my reading glasses on. This is a Jackman, Florida natural Wagyu beefsteak out of Clewiston?
Out of Clewiston.
Tell us a little bit about this, and what are the cuts?
So I went out to Jackman's Ranch. It's a cattle and cane farm. It's out in the middle of the state. Don't know if you've ever been to Clewiston. There's not much going on besides cattle and cane. But Kevin Jackman, he took me around and led me to all the different pastures. Now, there's an awesome ranch hand that helped them bring the different Wagyu breeds here to Florida. His name was Mark Hone. He also did the Snake River Farms.
Okay.
And who's responsible for bringing most of the Wagyu to the States and helping start those farms and introducing Wagyu.
Oh.
Now, this in particular Wagyu is an Akaushi breed, and that's the...
Akaushi?
Yep.
Okay. Can you spell that? Yeah, can you spell that? do 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 do.
What is Akaushi? Akaushi.
If anybody's out there, you can tag Akaushi in the comments. That'd be great.
It's the red Wagyu. So you know you're thinking of the black Wagyu is the Japanese premier breed. Now we use that as well from a different farm. But what's so important about that Akaushi is that it lives and survives better here in Florida than the black Wagyu. They brought the black Wagyu down here,
Right.
and it was just out in the fields, and it just wasn't
Too hot.
It was too hot for them down here. They didn't have enough beach time. They weren't hanging out. It was too much sun for them.
Not the right type of snowbird.
Yes. Yep. So they moved on to this Akaushi breed that took to our environment so much better, and they're raising it. It's grass-fed, and they're finishing on corn. So they have the Australian tiff grass is one awesome thing that they have. 4 different fields, so they rotate it at different times of the year.
So they're feeding it an Australian grass?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And it's one of the best grasses for them to eat.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. So let's move on to this big bad boy. Now this thing, everybody knows what a tomahawk is. This thing is crazy. Look at this. This is the Grand Island, Nebraska tomahawk. U.S. produces some of the best beef in the world thanks to the hardworking generations of cattle producers committed to raising the highest quality Angus type and continental breeds. So tell us a little bit about this particular Black Angus from the Grand Island, Nebraska.
This particular one has been dry aged. Now, Nebraska, you're talking about heartland beef. You're talking about the home, the mecca of the corn-fed beef that we all know as American beef. You know, and nowadays across Europe, they're going crazy for it. You're finding Nebraska beef in Italy. You're finding Iowa beef in France. This is what we're known for. You have a high marbling intramuscular fat. It is amazing non-GMO fed corn. It's what you expect from a steak.
Tell us about the marbling and choosing a good quality piece of meat. Because how important is that, really?
It's very important because of the flavor. You're looking for the intramuscular fat where it's kind of speckled throughout, and you are that's going to give it that buttery flavor or texture flavor that you're going to get. The texture, it's going to be a little bit more nice when you're cutting it. It's going to be more tender and plain out, more flavor.
Awesome. Well, we all love more flavors, so has there been any questions, Raphael? Anybody putting anything up? Oh, man. Well, if you guys have any questions about all these meats, we got a little bit more we're going to roll through here. So now this is a 32-day dry-aged New York strip and a bone-in Kansas City New York strip. So now, as you can see, this one's been trimmed. It doesn't have any of the bark around it like we showed on that big piece originally. So none of that good mold is there. It looks all perfect and marbled. So tell us a little bit about when you go into a restaurant and you're looking at a steak menu and you want to pick the right cut. What are the most common cuts in a restaurant that people really like to get?
Well, you're going with your New York strip, your tenderloin, and your ribeye. Those are the 3 primary steak cuts that are on there.
Okay.
Now, here at Dorona, we try to confuse you a little bit by giving you a few extra options.
Okay.
We have the grass-fed, like just take a New York strip in general. We have 3 different types of New York strips on the menu.
Oh, wow.
3
different types.
Each one of them has 3 different cut sizes, and then the 4th is is that bone-in New York strip. So we have technically 4, if you will.
Okay.
We have the regular New York strip, where it's going to be a wet age, which is a normal steak that you're going to get into. New York strip is going to be a little bit more firm and a little bit more toothy, if you will. So if you like just a little bit more bite on your steak, you want to go with the New York strip.
Okay. A little bit more bite, go with the New York strip.
Now, this aged one in particular is going to have more flavor in it because it imparted that flavor from the aging process. So you're going to have a little bit of not quite sour, but maybe nutty. And you like blue cheese?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
not. I'm not a big blue cheese fan. My wife loves it, but I've had it. Raphael likes it. But I know what it is. I've tasted it.
So you're going to have just a earthy appeal. Kind of bridging the gap to that blue cheesy, nutty flavor imparted on the steak that you like.
Now, I don't want to turn anybody off, but I've actually heard it has kind of like a funk. Not in a bad way, but that earthy, nutty, game-ish, almost kind of real beef taste. Is that I'm not a chef, so is that a good way of explaining it as well?
In part. So up to about 35 days, you're not going to get that super funk flavor that you're talking about. You're going to get those undertones, the earthy, the nutty. When you go anything from 35 all the way up to 60, all the way up to 120 days, I would say if you don't are just beginning into getting into dry age, keep around that 28 to 35 day, and you'll be good. So if you end up, if you're somebody that really likes that, go all the way up to 60 days. You're gonna find yourself some definitely some big, bold flavors, like some of the nice aged cheeses from France.
And that is what I had. I actually had 120 day aged, and it was so soft. It broke down with a fork. It had amazing amount of like that earthy tone, nutty funk to it, but it tasted so good. It was like real beef for sure. So let's get into this next one here that we have. This is a Grand Island, Nebraska beef tenderloin and a Grand Island, Nebraska bone-in tenderloin. So that's an interesting cut, a bone-in tenderloin.
So what we do is we offer the boneless and the bone-in. Now, whenever you cook meat with the bone-in, you're going to have more flavor. If you notice right next to the bone, you're going to have a little bit more fat on there. You're going to have a little bit more flavor from the marrow inside of it. Now, one thing when it's cooking is you're going to have a different type of cook. If you want this tenderloin medium rare, it's going to cook from all sides around. Now this one, you've got a bone stopping the temperature from going through there.
Right.
Now this is going to be a little bit more cooked, and as you get to the bone, it's going to be a little bit more undercooked. So if the way we talk to the people at the table to get the desired temperature that they want in a bone-in steak like this one, is we have them cut through the middle and double check that they like
what the majority of the meat is through the middle.
Yeah, because you're going to get more of a medium well here, but then a medium rare all the way to the bone.
Closer to the bone.
Yeah, all the way to about here, and then this side is going to cook a little bit more.
Okay. And I would imagine the same thing happens with something this thick as well. Trying to be able to, I know you sear it, and then, get the center to be pink and the outside to be what is desired from each individual person, but that's got to be tough. So let's take a break for a second. Let's talk about the way, and I'm trying to be nice about this because it's very subjective on, is my steak cooked the way I like it? I order it medium rare, I order it rare, I order it well, however you want to order it, and then it's up to the chef's interpretation to do that, and it comes back. But with all of these different cuts of meats we've seen today, especially like the tomahawk, or something thinner like the Aberdeen Angus, and then thicker like the filet, it's got to be a little crazy on you to have people send the steak back. What can we do to educate the consumer, the listeners today, and the people who are going to listen to this down the road, and have them be able to understand how to order this a little bit better? Is there any tricks that you can show us?
Well, first I'm going to start with, whenever we cook a steak, we're trying to get the right person with the right cut of meat. And we want them to be happy with how it comes out to their table. Now, we're cooking most of it to industry standard, what it is. That we're temping every steak with a thermometer, and we're staying right in there. Now, sometimes that doesn't appeal to what they think is medium rare or medium well. Now, what we try to do is figure out what they want. Now, the tips and tricks to doing that is that resting technique that we already spoke about. Now, when we encourage people to have multi-courses dinners here, so that it will allow the time for that steak to rest. When you have a high profile of a 2-inch cut, it's going to take some time to cook that properly.
Okay.
So we need, and then on top of that, we're going to have to rest it afterwards. Resting it could lead between anywhere from 2 minutes to 7 minutes
wow.
on those bigger texture or the bigger higher profile
Thicker cuts.
Thick cuts, yes.
Wow.
Tim Ayton said there's an American.
Okay, let me put my glasses on. We got a question from Tim Ayton. I was surprised to just learn that there's an American. Oh, he says that word. There it is.
Akaushi.
Akaushi. He found it. Akaushi Association. So that's interesting, Tim. So is there a trick that our listeners can, our viewers can do? I heard there's something you can touch your thumb or touch your finger, or
So
what? How do you tell what medium rare, all this stuff is?
By touch, say if you're at home grilling, you can use the palm of your hand, and you're going to touch your thumb to your index finger, and that's going to change the texture right there and going up. So that's going to be rare,
Okay.
medium rare, medium well, and well done.
So by doing, and let's show this to the viewers again. So by touching your thumb to your pointer finger and then touching here, that's supposed to be what?
That's going to feel like a medium rare steak.
Feel like medium rare. All right. And then when you move your finger to the middle finger, that's going to be a medium steak. So I really want to know how many viewers at home are doing this right now. Though that's interesting. So now is that a wives' tale, or is that really tried and true?
Well, so what you're trying to do is it's a texture thing. When the meat, because it's a muscle, when you're cooking it, it's going to constrict and it's going to feel more firm. And I've used it before. It works. Now here in the kitchen, we use the thermometer.
Of course.
Every single time.
Yeah, can't beat the thermometer.
We temp the steaks and we rest it out, and we make sure that it's to the temperature that we're supposed to send out to. Now, unfortunately, with cooking it on the grill 100% of the way, and between lighting, between 15 different people sitting down and them wanting their version of medium rare or medium, we want to get to that.
Right.
So we try to appeal to everybody, and that's where we've actually extended our temperature range for medium rare and medium per se, is to appeal to
a broad understanding of what medium rare is, with all the different people kind of, what their preference is.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, I heard you actually had, I don't know if we can put the camera over here real quick. I heard that you had a very special grill, and you only grill these steaks, or you cook these completely on the grill. You don't cook them in the oven like a lot of other steakhouses do. So these are completely grill cooked. Can you quickly just tell us about this special grill?
Oh, it's from a maker called Heston. Now, I first learned about them from French Laundry when I was out there. They
French Laundry is an amazing restaurant. They have that there?
Yes, their whole kitchen is made out of the Heston. Now, what I like about it is they are very in tune with what we need for the best of the best. Now, this one, when you cook on this grill, it gives it that crust, that Maillard reaction that you're talking about.
I love that.
And you get that kind of crunch on the outside.
Nice grill mark.
Yeah. And
Love
so it takes a little bit of time to cook a 2-3 inch tomahawk on there.
I can imagine. I've done some grilling at home, and I'm an impatient booger myself, and you got to go low and slow. That's why I'm not a barbecue pit master. So
if you ever get tired of cooking at home, just stop on by and we'll take care of you.
I do. I've eaten here a couple times already. I do love the steaks. So that's interesting. So we've learned a lot about temperatures. We've learned a lot about testing with your finger to know what the different cook times are, the different cuts that you have here, and then we also have these big guys right here. And look at these. These are again, Grand Island, Nebraska. This is a 22-ounce center cut porterhouse, and that is a 40. Is that a 40-ounce?
40-ounce Fiorentine.
Fiorentine.
So
wow.
When I was over
look at this thing
in Tuscany and outside of Florence, they had these steaks, and I fell in love with them. They are a thick double cut You can split it for 2. You can split it for 3.
Or eat it for 1.
Or eat it for 1.
Yeah, Raphael says eat it for 1. All right.
And it's amazing. So what I love about these ones is you get New York strip and you get tenderloin, and this is
so that's the New York strip on that side.
Yep.
And that's the tenderloin on that side, and you get the beautiful bone kind of,
the
people
flavor
like to eat off the
and
bone, the flavor.
It gets really good. Now we actually will take this and we'll grill it. We'll cut it off and we'll slice it for 2 people. Because me and my wife, when we go out, I'll get something like this. I'll eat the New York strip, and she'll eat the tenderloin.
That's interesting. So I can come down, and we can get a little bit of both. Bring the wife, get a little bit of both on that. And what was that called again?
The Fiorentine.
The Fiorentine.
Now, it's not
40
on the menu,
ounce.
but that's...
Secret menu item?
Yeah,
oh, you heard it here.
Something, a couple things that are new and exciting. So we'll have those on and off, throughout the week.
Okay.
And
so it's not always available.
Yeah.
Ask your server. 40-ounce Florentine secret menu item. I love that. That's fantastic. So, and I love the porterhouse too. That's just such a great classic cut like that. So, and then we're going to get into the pork because you're not always about the beef here. We got a little bit of pork. We got a little bit of lamb. These are last 2 cuts we're going to talk about. Now this Birkwood pork, this is from Iowa. I'm not even going to give the introduction. This is your home state here, so tell us a little bit.
Nick Jones has done an amazing job about putting together a coalition of a co-op of small family farmers. Now, up in Iowa, that's what we do, is we have everything small family farmers, and that's where the best of the best is. And so, actually, this Birkwood has one of the farmers is from my hometown. He's raising hogs in my hometown, and it is a Carabuda they're using in the Berkshire.
Carabuda? What's a Carabuda?
So it's known as like the black hog.
Oh, it's a type of pig.
It's a type of pig.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
And it's a heritage Berkshire style of pig. You're getting that intramuscular fat. You're getting marbling like a steak there.
Okay.
And it imparts more flavor. The texture is amazing. This day and age, most people are aware of the Carabuda, what it means between the difference of a regular pork chop.
Look at the thickness of that pork chop. How do you prepare this pork chop?
This one actually, we have some that we do on the grill, as well as we bread it. We make a pork Milanese. And so we're going to use a meat tenderizer just to pound it out a little bit, bread it, and then cook it, and then top it with a arugula. For dinner, we put a little burrata cheese, some crispy fried artichokes on there, and lemon on the side. Just a very, very simple, delicious, crispy on the outside.
We're going to be eating lunch here today with representative from Greg Norman, one of our sponsors that sponsors these great clothing that you always see Raphael and I wearing. And I actually might be getting that pork Milanese, you said?
Milanese. For lunch,
Milanese.
We do it a little bit different. So we do the same arugula, the heirloom tomatoes, and we do a fried egg on top.
Ooh, love a fried egg. On a burger, on a pork chop now? That's crazy. Oh, okay. I know what I might be having for lunch. So, and then the last one, we have this Colorado lamb rack. So I'm going to move this tag out of the way, and we're going to spin this around a little bit. And this is interesting, to have a rack of lamb from Colorado, all natural, Colorado rack of lamb. It's elegant, impressive, delicious, of course. And the breed is the largest in size. So what is the breed, and how are you getting this?
So when we source all of our meat, I've got a guy that goes through and he goes out to the farms and checks them out, and he finds and only brings back the best of the best for me. Nice. Now these ones I've specifically asked for the larger 2-pound and up racks, so you're going to get into that.
And you get that whole rack as an order?
Well, we have it by the rack. You can buy it by the bone, and we actually have it now. We switched it over, and now we're cutting it by lollipops, and then we're doing it called scatadito, which we're pan roasting, and then with some shallots, some rosemary, a little bit of mustard, and some of the lamb jus, making a sauce and serving it over some burrata and truffle whipped mashed potatoes.
Oh, that sounds good. Is that on the lunch menu?
No, but we got
to come back for dinner. Got to come back for dinner to get that one. That is crazy. So, okay, we're almost done. So, is there any last-minute questions? Anybody want to have anything to ask Jason here? We have done a amazing. I'm going to do one last little quick tour of this. We've got the lamb rack. We've got the lamb rack here. We've got the Birkwood pork rack from Iowa there. I've got the Grand Rapids, Nebraska. This is Grand Island, one of my favorite cuts right here. I'll be able to get the wife can get the filet, and I can get the New York strip on that side, Chef.
Yep, New York strip.
So, what do we have here, real quick? The Grand.
That's the beef tenderloin, bone-in tenderloin. We had the bone-in New York strip. We have the dry-aged New York strip. The tomahawk
big tomahawk. Look at that. Woo! Look at that tomahawk.
Nice bottle of Amarone and that thing.
Yes.
You're doing good.
Yeah.
This is the Wagyu, Jackman Ranch Wagyu New York strip. That's the Grand Island, Nebraska New York strip. Joyce Farms ribeye for the grass-fed eaters. And then the dry-age bone-in 22-ounce ribeye.
That looks so good.
Ooh.
That marbling on there. And one thing too, I saw somebody talking about, the marbling and how when it cooked, they got it to the table. They saw the marbling before they ordered it. They went to your amazing meat cabinet that you have. They picked something, they ordered it, and then when they got it back to the table, they were saying that there wasn't enough marbling. And I understand that the marbling, the fat actually cooks off, and that's what flavors the meat, correct?
Correct. You won't be able to see the marbling after it's cooked because you're going to taste the marbling. You're going to taste the fat. It's going to be pockets of fat throughout, and that savory, beefy flavor that you get is from that cooking out. Wow. So you're going to see it beforehand. You're going to taste it afterwards.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell about Dorona, about your meat program, about the meat locker, anything that our listeners, our viewers would like to know?
Well, the main thing is just we want you to be happy, and we want to lead you into the type of steak that's right for you. And we want to cook it the way that you want to as well. You want it.
That's fantastic.
So that we have a team of servers and team of chefs back here that are trying to lead you to the right choice.
That is great. And I know your servers are really nice, too, because the times that my wife and I have eaten here, they've gone through the menu with us and talked about the different steaks, the different cuts. So that's always nice, kind of having a, what would you call that? Almost like a sommelier of beef, in a way.
In a way, yes.
A concierge of beef. So that's always been nice. But thank you, Chef. I really appreciate all of your time today, explaining all of these different cuts of meat, different types of way of cooking it, the dry aging, the bone-in. Thank you so much for that. And if you guys want to learn more about Dorona Naples, or go to DoronaNaples.com to learn more, to take a look at their menu, to make a reservation. They're available on OpenTable, or you can just call. Again, the website is DoronaNaples.com. And once again, Chef, thank you very much. Really appreciate everything.
Thank you, guys. I hope to
great.
see you soon.
Thank you. Ciao.